Hi everybody, it's Diane right back with that new small glue book. I was not going to do this for this video. However, it's set up. I had to leave it. That's kind of neat. And so I was going to, glue it, finish it off, and then start a new project. All this stuff is here. I have other stuff for this book. Let's just do this. So there. I was going to do a page in the big altered book, but like I said, I'd have to clear all this stuff off and lug all that stuff over here, and I'm not sure. I have an image for that book, but I don't know what I really want to do with it yet, and this just sounded a lot easier to finish this. I decided to go ahead and do these pages without you, I thought. But in looking for stuff for these, I kept finding other images for this book, so that kind of worked out. And I'm short videos anyway, so let's just do this. We need a new glue paper that I didn't get out yet, but they're right here. Wrong one. I keep a second glue stick up here when I think of it in case I run out. And invariably, is that the right word? I grab the new one instead of the one I'm using. Okay, and I just thought that was cool, the lettering. It looks so kitschy and retro. And we have lots of birds singing again, except my windows are closed today because it's like 50 degrees out. It's the end of April and it's 50 degrees. And grumble, grumble, grumble. Well, naturally, I don't really like those little L showing there. We'll see. Maybe they will be covered. Oh, good. That's a little short. Okay. What are you going to do about that? Make it go up. Well, if it's going to be short, maybe I won't put it on the edge. Could even move it over. All right, well, swell. Now I need something for that. You could leave it if you really wanted to. It's not terrible, that background. I don't like it. Okay. And I'm really kind of trying, and it'll probably change as I'm working, but I'm not trying to make a big, fussy, finished, perfect picture collage thing in this book, because I don't really have any book going like that at the moment that was just my kind of don't think, just glue kind of idea. Okay, that should be fine. So we're gluing and not thinking. I don't know, sounds kind of dangerous. And naturally it's a little later than I thought it was too. Yeah, I will say just lately making videos has been kind of a pressure thing for me. Like I mentioned, I've been busy with other stuff. And then when you realize you're kind of short, like, oh, I should make a video, and it's a little, yeah, like you have to do it, which is not really what these should be about for me anyway, because I'm not making any money on these or anything. It's just kind of for fun, really, is why I do it. But when you feel pressured to make a video, it's not fun. So, kind of defeating the purpose. We'll see. Okay, just a little note. I did line this up then with this. I think that, to me, that looks better. Maybe to you, it doesn't. And the cloud, I just tore around it. I think that kind of gave it kind of a fun look. I think we can cover up one of those L little nubber things there. Yeah. Okay. See, normally, under normal thinking conditions, I probably wouldn't put this with these two colors. But it's interesting. It's different for me, so. Okay, I don't really want to cover up that window. All right, let's just put it there. Don't think too much. Yeah, I wonder if I'm going to have another late planting season. I only plant flowers, but I don't know how many years in a row it's been either too cool or too wet. Years ago, it was always like, wait till Mother's Day. After that, you know, the week after that, you can plant. No, it's been like an end of May, even into June lately. I don't know. I will say the weather has really changed since I was a child, which, you know, at my age, I suppose everything changes. And I'm in the same area I've always been in. Okay, neat. And we have a hot air balloon. Okay. And then I think we're going to call this page done. And the left side there is, I think, done, but I didn't trim it. Okay, yeah, they don't look so hot, not trimmed up. Well, I did this a while ago. I should be able to trim that now. Come on, get in there. When that one time I was listing all the things I don't like working about, I don't like about working in books. Spit it out, Diane, my gosh. Trimming them in a book is not high on my list. And talking about it is not high on my list either, apparently. Okay, that looks a little better. Except it's crooked. How'd you get it crooked? Oh, because you were trying to get the scissors in there. Okay, better. Okay. All right, well, let's move over. We glued our release paper to it. Okay. We have part of a camper. That was kind of cool. We have an old something or other. It's a studio. That's nice. Bunch of birds. That little mini floral display. That's pretty. And then that bull and rabbit, remember, from the glue book session. Well, you guys saw this last time. Maybe we should work with this. And what if we just left those words there? You know, under normal circumstances, and this is thinking, I know, I might cut around. I don't really like the out of focus stuff there and the person's hand, but without the person's hand, I don't think you get the idea of how small it is. Am I right? I mean, if you cut it out, it's just going to look like any other normal vase. And it's not. The beauty of it is that it's so small and cute. All right, well, let's cover the glue stick and look for something that can go with that. Do we want one of these on this side? Not that. Not that. I don't like the colors with it. Maybe. Yeah, if you wanted to just do something like that in a book and just call it a day, you know, there is nothing wrong with that. And it even is sort of a, you know, palette cleanser for all the other pages. All right, this may be really stupid and really showcasing she wasn't thinking, but let's see. And if not here, I could probably use this somewhere else. Someday. No. I don't think so, but it's different. I was going to say interesting. I don't know if I'd say interesting. It's the idea is cool and interesting, but I don't think that looks so glassy and cold next to that. I don't like that. How about that for weird reasoning? Is this actually a stairway? Yeah, it is stairs. I had an aunt when I was a child. It had a staircase that it didn't have risers, you know what I mean? It was just the treads up. As a little kid, I was always so scared I was gonna like fall through there. Yeah. And did it ever happen, Diane? No. Yeah, I did not like that. I wonder, do they even still make things like that? Is that like against code nowadays? I mean, that was a newer, it was like a townhome. So it was like a new construction, I think, when she got it. I don't know. But that was back in the, oh, I don't know when that was. Some decade past. All right. That's better than the star thing. Okay. Well, yeah, what about, since we have flowers here, maybe flowers here, and I gotta run off. Time flies when you're lamenting about no risers on staircases, huh? They were red, carpeted red. It was in the 70s, I will say. It's like a red shag. It was cool at the time, except you felt like you were going to fall through. Well, that's a really good size and shape, but I don't want hot pink. For once in my life, she's saying no hot pink. Or how about a nasturtium? Yeah, speaking of planting, I don't know what I'm going to plant. I have a couple areas in my front yard I plant, and the last few years they have not been that great. I don't know what I'm going to put in. I have neighbors out yelling and stuff. I mean, not angrily, calling to each other, yelling. Sorry to hear that. Okay, that'll work. I think maybe a second one. Well, these marigolds, they might match that bowl too well, but let's see. It might be a nice contrast behind the dark rabbit. Here, I won't totally fussy right now. Maybe. That could use some kind of word though, right? How about always have risers? I gotta pause for a little bit here. I'll fussy cut those marigolds. I'll look for a word and then we'll take it from there and work on the left side. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'm back, and I just did about 10 minutes of looking through a couple magazines and finding absolutely nothing. I decided I didn't like this on the lettering, the text, although I could take it out, but I just went to a plain page. I found a bird. I have to admit, I am not liking the background with the hands. I'm thinking about cutting it out. I mean, it's out of focus, it's distracting, it's kind of making it too busy. I'm just not liking it. All right. Don't hate me. And these I had mentioned these flowers in the background are all out of focus too. Obviously, I will cut it better than this. And yeah, I mean, you're missing the scale now if you go by the bird. But it just was not cutting it for me. What can I say? So now I'm not sure what I want. Just want a background. I could paint something too. These are picture frame moldings, by the way. I did find that. Doo. This could be pretty. Oh, here, this doesn't have printing on it. Well, let's take more of the gold color. And I did finish the other one, which I'll show you when we're done with this. Sorry, I'm clanking everything. That's fine. I don't think it's particularly exciting. We need a phrase. Some other thing on there now would be helpful because I had to cut it down, right? You know, if you had that on a bigger base, that probably would help. That would have been maybe okay. But we didn't, so what can I say? Well, I'm not a fan of this. They're bracelets. Actually, I wouldn't really wear that, but I like the gold. I don't like these bead things. I know, Diane doesn't like anything. Yeah, that kind of goes with. Okay, we need a word. I'll find that on my own because we know how that goes. This video is getting a little lengthy anyway. All right. Bright things. Okay, folks, I'm going to pause again, finish it off, and you can see them both. Hang on. Okay, here we are. I did spatter some gold metallic paint, and I added this. There was nothing going on up there. So yeah, for anyone saying you should have left the hat, or I kind of agree with you, but it just, for me, it just wasn't working. Okay. And then there's that. I put a phrase on an angle with this. I added a couple more flower things. I thought it needed it. Okay, there we go. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day.